Home sellers win $1.8 billion after a jury finds conspiracy among realtors. That's an article written by the New York Times and it has a great hook. It's caught my eye several times over the past week and reminds me of what I learned about cold email recently. And it's that mastery takes time. You don't write hooks like this after graduating journalism class, and you're not a pro at cold email after writing a few hundred. And I'd say I'm about at 80% understanding of cold emails. The gap in action, understanding, and nuance from 80% to 90% is insane. Professionals at cold email do a few things. Open rates of 40 to 50%. They write copy every day and test new sequences. They always warm up domains to keep their email cycle active, understand their target audience to the nth degree, and put custom personalization in their emails at scale. I had open rates of 26%, wrote one sequence without testing it, and had a shallow understanding of my ICP. If you put in the time the professionals do, you might be able to pull off the career equivalent to winning a $1.8 billion lawsuit or writing an amazing hook. When you're thinking about mastery of a topic, the first thing that it's important to realize is I need to do this regularly. And for me, that is asking myself the question, how would I fill up a deep work routine if I were to do this? So for those of you who don't know about deep work, it's a book that Cal Newport wrote, and he was talking about the fact, it's kind of in the One Thing by Gary Keller. It's just time blocking, but a very intense form of time blocking, where you're gonna be very focused and doing activities for 90 minutes at a time. And you probably want 2 to 3 deep work sessions in a day. I think 2 was the ideal, but if you can get 3 in, because that would only be 90, 180, 270, that's 4.5 hours of deep work. If you have the endurance to do deep work for 4.5 hours, you will do very well when it comes to productivity. And when you think about deep work routine, it's like, what can I do for 90 minutes straight that will tick the needle forward in terms of my skill, in terms of my mastery regarding this topic? For example, if you're a journalist, I would assume it would be writing articles or reading articles or brainstorming hooks, dissecting the best pieces of journalism, understanding the system behind it. Those are some of the things you can do as a journalist for that 90 minutes of deep work. As a cold email copywriter, it might be writing different email templates, reading the highest performing emails, doing research on your target market. That may look like reading survey results, doing a survey, doing interviews. Those could be deep work activities. Ideally, deep work activities are something you can do alone, so the interviews might not be the best there. But when you fill up a deep work routine with the activities that are going to tick the needle forward in terms of your mastery of a subject, you'll do pretty solid. And a good way to gauge whether or not you are increasing in mastery is to ask yourself, can I consistently fill up a deep work routine regarding this topic? Because I guarantee you, the best in the world at whatever you're trying to do understand what deep work they need to be doing to improve. With basketball, you gotta shoot for 90 minutes straight, or you gotta do these dribble drills, or you can do defense kind of slides. You can practice your eye-hand coordination. Like, there are tons of things you can do in basketball. I'm not a pro at basketball, but the point is, a lot of people think they're going to go pro in basketball, but they don't shoot 1,000 free throws a day. A lot of people think they're going to go pro in the NFL, but they don't practice their tackling for 90 minutes a day. Like when I was playing football back in high school, we would practice tackling for maybe 10 minutes. It'd be a 10-minute drill. You might get 5 reps. Could you imagine if you just practiced 90 minutes straight on your tackling, and then you did that every day for the rest of your life? You would be an insane tackler. Like, you'd be so good at tackling. And so that's just the point. What would it look like to fill up a deep work routine with this activity? And when you figure that out, go to the pros, figure out how they do it, and then do what they do and start improving when it comes to mastery. So if you can fill up a deep work routine, that would be the first step in achieving mastery. And a lot of times, if you're trying to improve at something and you're like, I can't even work on this thing for 30 minutes straight, there's probably just some character that you need to resolve there. Some focus, some consistency in your schedule, and understanding what the deep work of that activity looks like. For that reason, I want to get better at cold email. I now have a block of time in the morning, 3 or 4 days a week, where I'm going to be writing email sequences, because I was reading this cold email tutorial and they said that the best email copywriters write every day. and they had hundreds of templates. I had written one template, and I was just expecting that to convert at an open rate. And they understand their ICP, and they had all these kind of points to, do you know this about your ICP? Do you know this? And I was like, I don't know any of this. So I didn't know my ICP well, and I wrote one template, when the best people write one template a day and know their ICP very well. So once you fill up a deep work routine, you're on your way to mastery. And that's an important part of business, because eventually you'll be outsourcing this to somebody, and you'll be training somebody. And you need to tell them the activities that they can do to improve, so that you can improve the results they produce, of course, which improves the bottom line for the business. The next thing I would say is just understanding the baseline components. When I walk through what the pros of cold email do, they're writing every day. They have some things that they do with buying domains and updating the settings of their domains to hit the inbox. They do simple stuff like turn off the open rate tracker link to figure out how many of the emails were open. They just turn that off. And when you understand the baseline components of the activity you're trying to do, and you break it down into the granular things, it's like, I need to write really well, I need to understand my ICP really well, I need to understand how to land in the inbox very well. Those are the three things. So what are the three activities that you can have a deep work session on to improve those things? Well, for writing really well, I need to write every day, various sequences. For understanding my ICP really well, I need to go through customer reviews. I need to interview customers, review surveys, create surveys. Like, those are activities that you can be doing that will improve your knowledge of your ICP. And then as for landing in the inbox, I could read cold email books and strategy that tell me the work to do, because I don't know what to do to land in the inbox better. And I could do that work. Maybe it's warming up an email once a day for 30 days. Like, I don't know what that work is, but you figure it out. You really understand the baseline components. You're like, if I landed in the inbox, understood my ICP enough to really write to their pain points and their ideal outcomes, and had a really good, well-written email, my open rates would be insane, my conversion would be insane, and all because I'm landing in the inbox. So once you understand those baseline components, you can start to grow and start to form your deep work routine around that. But until you understand those baseline components, you might be confused about what you actually need to be doing that ticks the needle forward. And remember, this is all about getting to the point where you can write that hook, getting to that mastery in business. You understand the baseline components, you create a deep work routine around that, and then you dissect each of the baseline components. And this is really what you create your deep work routine around. For example, the baseline component of writing good email copy. I went 90 minutes around improving my improving my email copy. Baseline component, email copy. Deep work, 90 minutes. Dissecting the area, what is the process to improve it? Write one sequence in each deep work session. Write one template in each deep work section. Or write one template and 3 examples of each template in each deep work session. And it could be like reading best converting email copy from this book that you heard on your podcast 400 days ago. Because there's a book that this guy said that he was a really good email copywriter, and he studies that book, studies the best examples. And so as you dissect the area, you understand, okay, I need to write, this is how I need to write, and this is the type of library of material that I need to create, and this will help me tick the needle forward towards writing good emails, because I'll start to experiment with different hooks, different subject lines, different ways to catch attention and pattern interrupt them as they're going through their email. These are just some of the things you think about to start to get towards mastery. But again, you get your deep work routine, you establish, hey, I need to do something for 90 minutes. What's that something? It's one of the baseline components of the skill you're trying to get mastery in. And then you dissect each of those baseline components. What is the process to improve it? Do I need to write? Do I need to do cold calls? Do I need to code more? Do I need to learn more by reading the best examples? Like, what do you need to be doing in that 90 minutes to become a master at it? And typically it's doing the activity. That's what we got for you guys today on the show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And remember, we are a community of people judged not by our wealth, but by our impact.